The appeal of the Holy Child of Atocha lies not only in his miracles, but in the profound message of hope he represents. In a world filled with suffering and uncertainties, his image serves as a reminder that God's love knows no bounds. The child Jesus, represented in the Holy Child, does not wait for perfect conditions to extend his help. He meets people in their deepest needs, even in prison cells or abandoned villages. Pilgrimages to the Holy Child's shrines are often marked by stories of sacrifice and faith. Pilgrims sometimes travel on foot for days, bringing gifts such as food, candles, or clothing as acts of gratitude. These journeys are not only physical, but also deeply spiritual, serving as a form of penance and a testimony of their devotion to the child. Beyond individual prayers, the Holy Child is invoked by entire communities facing collective crises. During natural disasters or pandemics, for example, communities turn to the child for protection. His intercession is credited with saving lives, restoring peace, and bringing hope to devastated areas. Miracles associated with the Holy Child continue to be reported today. Devotees share stories of recovery from illnesses, reunions with lost loved ones, escape from danger, and unexpected blessings after praying to him. These testimonies are seen as proof that the child Jesus is still actively present among his people, responding to prayers with tender love. The child's mission of mercy is reflected in the lives of those transformed by his intercession.
Before continuing with this video, I would like to invite you to reflect with us on our spiritual life as Catholics. Many times, in the hustle and bustle of everyday life, we set prayer aside, even though we know how important it is for our spiritual life. With this in mind, I have created an ebook called Prayer Routine for Catholics. In it, I share simple and effective ways to integrate prayer into your daily life, bringing more serenity and closeness to God. This material is a valuable companion for those who wish to live their faith more intensely and consistently. The link to the ebook is in the first comment of this video. Click the link and receive your ebook right now. May God bless you.
Many devotees testify that they felt a personal call to be more charitable and compassionate, inspired by the Holy Child's example of unconditional love. This transformation serves as a testimony to the child's true mission, bringing the love of Christ to every heart. Beyond his miraculous interventions, the Holy Child of Atocha is a source of spiritual renewal. His humble appearance as a child reminds the faithful of Christ's invitation to trust and simplicity, encouraging them to approach God with childlike faith. His persona as a pilgrim serves as a reminder that Jesus also walked among the poor, bringing comfort and hope. A touching story involves a boy diagnosed with a terminal illness in Plateros, Mexico. His mother, devastated by the news, brought her son before the Holy Child of Atocha, praying wholeheartedly for a miracle. She promised that if her son was healed, she would dedicate her life to spreading devotion to the child. Against all odds, the boy recovered completely, and his mother fulfilled her promise, becoming a fervent promoter of the child's love. Devotion to the Holy Child of Atocha encourages the faithful to live with hope, charity, and humility, echoing the virtues embodied by the child Jesus. His presence in the lives of the faithful, both past and present, is a testament to God's unchanging love, which becomes small and humble to draw near to his children. One such story involves a widow struggling to survive after her husband's death. She prayed to the Holy Child, asking for help to support her children. Soon after, she received unexpected support from neighbors and a job opportunity that enabled her to provide for her family. She saw this as a clear sign of the child's loving concern for her and her children. The story of the Holy Child of Atocha is one that touches the hearts of believers around the world. This miraculous child Jesus is depicted as a young pilgrim, dressed in humble clothes and a wide-brimmed hat, carrying a small basket in his hand. He is revered for his compassion and willingness to help those in dire need, bringing hope to the hopeless. Stories of the Holy Child of Atocha multiplied, crossing regional borders and touching countless hearts. Believers in Spain saw this miracle as a clear sign of God's merciful presence amid suffering. His small, pilgrim-like figure represented the unexpected ways God reaches out to his children, especially when they are oppressed. His devotion emphasizes the importance of seeing Christ in others, especially the poor, imprisoned, and suffering. The actions of the Holy Child challenge the faithful to be Christ's hands and feet in the world, offering mercy, compassion, and love to those in need, just as he did. Devotion to the Holy Child also carries a strong message of divine mercy. Just as Christ showed mercy to the poor, sick, and imprisoned during his earthly ministry, the child's miracles reflect this same mercy. The faithful are encouraged not only to seek the child's help, but also to extend mercy to others, becoming instruments of God's love in the world. As more captives experienced this miraculous encounter, devotion to the Holy Child of Atocha grew rapidly. The faithful realized that their prayers to the Virgin of Atocha had been answered unexpectedly through the direct intervention of her Son, the Divine Child. The child's acts of charity provided not only physical sustenance, but also spiritual encouragement. The Christmas season, when devotion to the Holy Child is especially fervent, highlights the central message of his story. The incarnation of Christ as a child who comes not only to save humanity, but to walk among them, sharing their burdens and sufferings. The Holy Child's role in this narrative emphasizes God's personal closeness to humanity, offering a tangible sign of his mercy. The devotion has also become popular among those in dangerous professions, such as soldiers, police officers, and firefighters. These individuals often carry a small image of the Holy Child with them, trusting in his protection during risky missions. Stories of miraculous escapes from danger attributed to the child's intercession are common among these groups. One of the most remarkable miracles attributed to the child involves a group of miners trapped in a mine in Mexico. The situation seemed desperate as oxygen levels dropped and escape routes were blocked. In their despair, the miners began to pray to the Holy Child of Atocha, pleading for his divine intervention to save them from certain death. Many parents teach their children to pray to the Holy Child of Atocha, introducing him as a loving and accessible friend. This practice not only instills devotion from an early age, but also fosters a sense of trust in God's providence, as children learn that they can turn to the Holy Child at any moment. Beyond Mexico and Spain, devotion to the Holy Child of Atocha has reached Latin America, the United States, and the Philippines. In the Philippines, his presence blends with the long-standing veneration of the Santo Niño de Cebu, another revered representation of the child Jesus. Despite differences in local traditions, the central message remains the same. The child Jesus brings hope, healing, and protection. The story of the Holy Child of Atocha also touches the lives of those who suffer from loneliness. Many elderly people living in isolation or abandoned by their families find solace in his image. Devotees often report feeling a comforting presence nearby after praying to the child, as if he were sitting beside them, offering companionship and a sense of being loved by God. Devotion to the Holy Child of Atocha is more than just a story of miraculous events. It is a living expression of faith. It reminds the faithful that God's grace is not limited by time, space, or human frailty. The child's journey continues, offering hope and mercy to a world still in need of God's tender love. One of the distinctive characteristics of the Holy Child's devotion is the tradition of offering small shoes at his shrines. Devotees, grateful for miracles or seeking new ones, leave pairs of shoes on the altar, symbolizing the child's tireless journey on their behalf. The sight of countless tiny shoes is a visual testimony to the child's unceasing care for his faithful. The child's image is often carried in processions through the streets of Plateros, surrounded by hymns and prayers. These processions are marked by a festive yet reverent atmosphere, as people of all ages walk together, united by faith and devotion. The sight of the Holy Child being carried through the crowd serves as a reminder that he still walks among his people, bringing hope wherever he goes. The child's presence during times of collective suffering is seen as a sign of Christ's solidarity with humanity. His childlike form serves as a reminder that God's love is tender and personal, yet powerful enough to transform entire communities. The miraculous interventions of the Holy Child, big or small, inspire deeper trust in God's providence. One of the most moving miracles occurred in a small village where a young girl was gravely ill.
Before continuing with this video, I would like to invite you to reflect with us on our spiritual life as Catholics. Many times, in the hustle and bustle of everyday life, we set prayer aside, even though we know how important it is for our spiritual life. With this in mind, I have created an ebook called Prayer Routine for Catholics. In it, I share simple and effective ways to integrate prayer into your daily life, bringing more serenity and closeness to God. This material is a valuable companion for those who wish to live their faith more intensely and consistently. The link to the ebook is in the first comment of this video. Click the link and receive your ebook right now. May God bless you.
Her family, lacking resources for medical care, turned to the Holy Child of Atocha with fervent prayers. One night, the girl's mother dreamt of the child, who assured her that her daughter would recover. By morning, the girl's condition had dramatically improved. The child's miracles are not limited to dramatic rescues or healings. Devotees often recount smaller, everyday interventions that made a significant difference in their lives. Stories of unexpected job opportunities, resolution of family conflicts, and guidance in moments of confusion are all attributed to the gentle hand of the Holy Child. The Holy Child's intercession is often sought in cases of severe illness. Parents, children, and entire families pray fervently to him during health crises. Miraculous recoveries, often beyond medical explanation, are attributed to the child's compassionate intervention. Such stories inspire continued devotion, strengthening the faith of those who witness these healings. The image of the Holy Child of Atocha in Plateros is one of Mexico's most venerated. This representation of the Holy Child shows him sitting on a small throne, dressed as a pilgrim, with a staff, a gourd of water, and a basket filled with bread. His shoes are often worn and dusty, symbolizing his tireless journey to help those in need. For many devotees, seeing the face of the Holy Child is a profound spiritual experience. His gentle smile, depicted in many images, is a source of encouragement. It reassures the faithful that, despite life's trials, God's love is constant and that the child Jesus is always near, ready to help, heal, and guide. One of the most deeply rooted traditions associated with the Holy Child is the novena prayed in his honor. This series of prayers over 9 days is a spiritual journey, inviting the faithful to reflect on the virtues of the Holy Child and seek his intercession. Many miracles have been reported as a result of this novena, reinforcing the child's role as a powerful intercessor before God. Numerous miracles are attributed to the Holy Child of Atocha. He is known for protecting travelers, healing the sick, and providing aid to the poor. His devotees share stories of unexpected help, such as being rescued from danger, finding lost objects, or receiving food when they had none. His presence is felt as a comforting and protective force. Devotion to the Holy Child of Atocha is ultimately a devotion to the merciful love of Christ. His story reflects the central message of the gospel, that Jesus, even as a child, reaches out to the poor, the suffering, and the marginalized, offering them the hope of salvation. The child's miracles, whether of healing, protection, or provision, are expressions of this divine love. The Holy Child of Atocha is a reminder that holiness is not reserved for the strong or wise, but is accessible to those with childlike faith. His story invites all, regardless of age or condition, to approach Jesus with trust, knowing that he is always ready to help, heal, and console. The story of the trapped miners became well known, further solidifying the Holy Child's reputation as a protector of the desperate and helpless. People began praying to him not only for physical needs, but also for spiritual strength in times of despair, seeing him as a tangible reminder of God's loving mercy. As the Holy Child of Atocha continues his miraculous journey through time and space, he invites all to approach him with open hearts. His story reminds the faithful that God's love is always present, reaching out to each person with tenderness and compassion. Devotion to the child is not merely a tradition, it is a living testimony to the enduring power of God's love, calling each believer to walk in faith, hope, and charity. God bless you. This tradition is rooted in the belief that the Holy Child of Atocha walks all night, visiting the sick and the Holy Child's story encourages the faithful to live with a spirit of humility, simplicity, and trust. His humble appearance invites believers to embrace the virtues of the gospel, such as childlike faith, generosity, and compassion. By following the child's example, the faithful learn to see Christ in others and to love them with the same unconditional love that the child demonstrates. The child's image is filled with symbolism that speaks to the simplicity of divine love. His childlike form is a powerful reminder of Jesus' words in the Gospels. "Let the little children come to me, and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these." Matthew 19:14. The Holy Child embodies this welcoming and tender aspect of Christ, inviting all to approach him with trust. A touching tradition at the shrine is the custom of bringing small gifts for the child. Eventually, devotion to the Holy Child of Atocha spread beyond Spain, reaching Mexico, the Philippines, and other countries. In Mexico, the devotion especially flourished in the city of Plateros, where a small chapel dedicated to the Holy Child became a pilgrimage center. People traveled long distances, seeking his intercession and the grace of miracles. The faithful continue to find solace in the child's image, trusting that he will accompany them through all trials. His story inspires not only admiration, but also a commitment to follow Christ more closely, seeking to embody his compassion and mercy in daily life. His hat, often adorned with a feather, represents his constant readiness to travel wherever he is needed. The gourd of water in his hand is a sign of his life-giving presence, offering refreshment to the weary. His worn shoes speak of his tireless journey alongside those who suffer, walking with them until they find relief. The Holy Child of Atocha Shrine in Plateros remains a powerful center of devotion, drawing visitors from all backgrounds. Pilgrims arrive with various requests, but the most common prayer is for strength to endure life's difficulties. The child's chapel is filled with offerings of gratitude, candles, photographs, and written testimonies, each telling a story of answered prayers and renewed hope. In the face of modern challenges, the Holy Child of Atocha remains a reminder of the enduring power of faith and prayer. His story encourages the faithful to trust in God's providence, knowing that even in the darkest moments, the divine child is present, ready to bring comfort and hope. The origins of this devotion lie in Atocha, a neighborhood in Madrid, Spain. During the 13th century, when Spain was under Moorish rule, Christian captives were often imprisoned under deplorable conditions, prohibited from receiving visitors except for children under 12. This situation became critical as captives often went without food, water, or spiritual sustenance. The Holy Child's role as protector of the poor and suffering continues to inspire artists, writers, and musicians. Songs, poems, and stories dedicated to him capture the essence of his love, spreading the message of hope he represents. His image is portrayed in paintings, statues, and folk art, each crafted with deep reverence and devotion. The Holy Child of Atocha is also seen as a symbol of humility. Despite his divine nature, he appears as a simple, accessible, and relatable child. His pilgrim attire emphasizes that Christ is always present among the poor and marginalized, walking with them through their trials and struggles. It is this humility that endears him to the people. According to the miner's testimony, a young boy dressed as a pilgrim suddenly appeared among them. He brought them water and bread, offering strength and encouragement. Miraculously, he showed them an exit route that was previously unknown. The miners managed to follow the path and reach safety, convinced they had been saved by the Holy Child of Atocha. One striking aspect of the child's image is his small basket, symbolizing his willingness to share what little he has with those who have even less. It is said that his basket never empties, signifying God's infinite mercy and provision. This symbolism resonates deeply among believers who see him as the perfect model of charity and giving. His miraculous interventions often serve as a profound reminder of Jesus Christ's Eucharistic presence, especially among the marginalized. The child's acts of feeding the hungry captives echo Christ's own gift as the bread of life, nourishing the souls of the faithful with the promise of eternal life. The symbolism of the child's journey is particularly relevant in today's world, where many feel lost or adrift. His pilgrim's attire emphasizes that Christ walks with us, no matter how difficult or uncertain the path. This message resonates deeply with those facing economic hardships, immigration struggles, and personal challenges, assuring them that the child accompanies them every step of the way. Then something extraordinary began to happen. The prisoners reported that a mysterious young boy started visiting them. He wore a traveler's cloak and a hat adorned with a feather, carrying a small basket of food and a gourd of water. Despite the guards' strict rules, the boy seemed to pass through barriers unnoticed, bringing comfort and nourishment to the captives. This miracle became a symbol of hope for the village, reinforcing the belief that the Holy Child responds to prayers of faith, especially from the poor and helpless. It serves as a testament to the child's promise to protect the weak, heal the sick, and provide for the needy, no matter how small or remote the community may be. Pilgrims, especially children, bring flowers, toys, and even small baskets of food, mimicking the child's own bread basket. These simple gifts symbolize the innocent love and gratitude of the faithful as they present their hearts to Jesus in his most tender form, the Holy Child of Atocha. For many, the greatest gift of the child is his ability to lighten life's burdens. His smile, often depicted in images, is seen as a source of encouragement. Those who gaze upon the face of the Holy Child describe a sense of peace that transcends earthly troubles, reminding them of Christ's words, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Matthew 11:28. Pilgrims visiting the shrine often describe a palpable sense of peace upon entering. The aura of holiness surrounding the Holy Child's image is overwhelming, as if the divine child himself were present, listening to the prayers of his people. Many claim to leave the shrine not only with renewed faith, but also with a deep sense of inner peace, a gift from the child's merciful presence. News spread quickly among the prisoners and their families. They marveled at how this mysterious boy always had enough food and water for everyone, regardless of the number of prisoners present. When the basket was empty, it would miraculously refill. Believers saw him not as an ordinary boy, but as the child Jesus himself, answering their prayers as the Holy Child of Atocha. The devotees of the Holy Child of Atocha are known for their deep trust in his miraculous power. Many believe that just as he appeared to the prisoners in Spain and the miners in Mexico, he continues to travel the world, bringing God's blessings to those who suffer. He is often invoked in prayers by travelers, as his pilgrim image symbolizes protection on life's journey. The boy's visits became legendary, leaving the guards perplexed. They tried to identify the boy, but he always vanished before they could reach him. Despite their efforts, they couldn't comprehend how the child managed to escape their watch. This mysterious visitor became a symbol of hope, defying human barriers to bring God's love to the neediest. The devotion also extends to homes and families, where images of the Holy Child are kept as a sign of protection. His small statue often occupies a prominent place in living rooms or home altars, reminding families of his constant presence and readiness to help in times of need. Devotion to the Holy Child of Atocha has inspired many charitable initiatives. Hospitals, orphanages, and shelters have been founded in his name, aiming to serve those in need, especially children. These charitable works are seen as a direct continuation of the child's mission, serving as living testimonies of his presence in the world. Devotion to the Holy Child of Atocha includes many rituals and traditions, such as offering prayers for safe travels, lighting candles in his honor, and even reenacting his miraculous interventions. These practices reflect the profound impact he has had on popular piety, especially among the marginalized. The miracles attributed to the Holy Child continue to inspire hope. Stories of miraculous recoveries, unexpected rescues, and divine assistance in times of crisis serve as a powerful testimony to the child's enduring mission. Each miracle is a reminder that Jesus is still active in the world, answering prayers and drawing people closer to God. To this day, the Holy Child of Atocha is seen as a beacon of hope. His image, whether in grand shrines or humble homes, represents a profound invitation to trust in the miraculous power of God's love, made visible in the form of a small child. Through the child, the faithful are reminded that God is never far away. He walks among them, sharing their burdens and lighting the path to salvation. In Plateros, Mexico, an annual pilgrimage takes place in honor of the Holy Child of Atocha, attracting thousands of pilgrims seeking blessings, healing, and protection. The pilgrimage is marked by prayers, processions, and acts of penance as the faithful express gratitude for his intercession and ask for continued help. His devotion teaches that no one is beyond the reach of Christ's mercy. Whether in a prison cell, a mine shaft, or a struggling home, the Holy Child of Atocha brings the promise of God's love to all who call upon him in faith. His pilgrimage through time and space reflects Christ's ongoing mission to be present for his people, regardless of their circumstances. The Holy Child is also closely associated with mothers, who often turn to him for help with their children. In times of illness, behavioral problems, or difficult circumstances, mothers find solace in praying to this child Jesus, entrusting their concerns to him. His gentle presence brings hope, knowing that he understands the needs of both the child and the parent. The feast day of the Holy Child is celebrated on January 1st in Spain and on December 25th in Mexico, aligning with the Christmas season when Christ's birth is commemorated. These celebrations are marked by joy, processions, and masses that honor the child's miraculous interventions and his enduring presence among the faithful. The child's pilgrim attire is not just symbolic, but also a call to action. His image reminds the faithful that they too are pilgrims in this world, walking toward the eternal kingdom of heaven. Devotion to him encourages a spirit of pilgrimage in everyday life, prompting the faithful to walk humbly, help others along the way, and keep their eyes fixed on God. Poor, and by morning his shoes are worn out. The offering of new shoes is a gesture of love from the faithful, acknowledging his tireless efforts to bring relief to the afflicted. The families of these prisoners, desperate for help, turned to prayer. They sought the intercession of the Blessed Virgin Mary under the title of Our Lady of Atocha, whose image, housed in a nearby chapel, was known for miraculous interventions. People prayed fervently for their loved ones, hoping for a miracle that would provide sustenance amid the dungeon's darkness. One of the most important lessons from the Holy Child's story is that God often acts in unexpected ways. Just as the child appeared to the prisoners of Atocha and the miners in Mexico, he continues to appear in the least expected places, offering help to those in need. This lesson invites believers to remain open to the surprising ways God's grace can manifest in their lives.